Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. I'm going to take a quick second and I am going to make sure that I have pinned our video to the top of our Facebook group and make sure that it is also in our event. So if you're seeing me, hi, I'm live. Let me know that you see me so I will know that we are all good and then we can get into all the fun stuff. So here is that video. Let's head over to events and hopefully that will work. Where are we? We are in events and I am live. So let me comment there. Hi, friends. And we've got a chat going. So I am going to post it in there too. So we've got Sylvia says hi. And Shelly says, afternoon, Jessica. So I'm glad that you guys can see me. That is wonderful. It looks like we've got a bunch of people watching already, which is absolutely fabulous. So let's see, in communities, in this chat, I'm going to say I'm live now with a link, and hopefully that will work. Now I can get into all the fun things. So we've got Jerry is here saying hi, hello from Highland Lakes, New Jersey. And Debbie says hello from Pennsylvania. And Chris says hi, and I know she's in Kentucky. So hi, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been really such a wonderful thing, such a blast going live each Wednesday. We did some in the afternoon and I'm doing a few in the evening. And we've got a hi from Ontario. And I am not sure who that is, but that's okay. So if you'd like me to know who is saying hi, you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard, which is the software that I use to be able to stream in the group and share my slides and all of that. Or you can also just type your name along. And we've got Chris is joining us on YouTube. Hi, Chris. Thank you for joining. So today we've been talking so much about the LYS Love Shawl, and we're still going to keep talking about that because I know that so many of you are still working on it. But I also wanted to take a pause and take a moment and celebrate you and celebrate the other patterns in my collection. There's 45 of them now, and share some of your beautiful knitting on some of my other designs at the same time. So we're going to do both, but I really wanted to take that time and celebrate you and how hard you try, how hard you work, how talented you all are, and just to say thank you all for being here. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica and I am the designer and everything else behind Double the Stitches. You see on the screen a few of my more recent designs, and we're going to talk about some of them as I share some of your projects. And I am also going to so we'll talk about if you're struggling with the shawl. We'll talk about some upcoming events. We'll have our progress party celebrating you. And I'm also going to share how to create a project on Ravelry. I'll walk you through that step by step because in order to enter the giveaway for the LYS Love Shawl, all that I'm asking that you do is go into Ravelry, create a project page that shows off your knitting. So we're not looking for just the yarn. We're not looking for the picture, my picture. We're looking for your pictures of your work. It does not have to be a completed shawl. This is a low pressure thing. You can take as long as it takes you. However long it takes you is the perfect amount of time. But some have finished, so we'll, I'm going to keep sharing those as we go on. And we have a hi from Oregon, and Sonia for first time here, and Samantha says, hey, y'all. So I am really excited to share all of this good stuff with you all. So I'm going to make me little and my slides bigger so that you can see the bigger pictures and also whatever information I have on the slides too. So again, and I said this last week too, if you're struggling with the stitches in the LYS Love Shawl, I want you to put down the good yarn. And I want you to pick up the scrap yarn that's in your stash, the one you have no idea what to do with, use that one. And it doesn't matter what weight it is. The idea is that you're practicing making the stitches. So use an appropriate needle size that goes with that yarn. Cast on just 29 stitches with scrap yarn. Follow the stitch by stitch videos. The 29 stitches gives you one repeat. You can also follow along with the chart, along with the videos and the written pattern. So you kind of have all the tools in your arsenal. So you can, hopefully you'll be successful if you stop worrying about ruining the good yarn and just work out the mechanics of the stitches. Most of them are fairly simple. There is that slip, slip, purl where you're working through the back loop, and it's a little tricky. So if you haven't done it before, take that time. It's really worth it. I know that as knitters, a lot of us hate swatching, and we will do everything we can to avoid swatching. This is not swatching to hope that you're on gauge. This is swatching to practice, making a swatch to practice the stitches. If you need help, I'm here. Reach out. Let me know where you're struggling so that I can help you along. If you have a local yarn store near you, reach out to them, and you know, it may be a small fee for a project class. Some stores charge, some don't. Sometimes it depends whether you purchase the yarn from them or not, but it is their time and their talent and their knowledge. So so reach out to your local yarn store, tell them where you're struggling, and ask if someone can sit with you and watch you do the stitches and make sure that you are doing them correctly. So that's my advice, from not only from the standpoint of being a designer, but also having worked in a yarn store. I also run a group at my library, and spend a lot of time helping my students that are in my library class learn how to do the different stitches. And once you learn them, once you master them, they're introduced early on in the shawl, and there's no real surprises as you keep going. It's not like a mystery shawl where things keep changing. It's the same stitches over and over again. If you're struggling with picking up the stitches for the side panels, I've got a video. I've got you covered for all of the videos, all of the tutorials, step by step. So that is my note to you if you are struggling. And I just got this really sweet note through my website chat widget. Messenger thing. And Peggy didn't give up. She sent me this message, and she had said, I'd done this with the help of a knitter at Backstitches in Lynchburg, Virginia. I had trouble twice with row 1, but with this excellent tutorial, I am ready to try it again. Thanks so much. I go row by row, and so grateful for your tutorial videos. So really take that time, go through those videos. This is the link where you'll find them all. So it's doublethestitches.com, which is my website, / and then this is all one word, no spaces, LYS Love Shawl Videos. Kind of a mouthful to say, but that's where everything is. And I hope that it helps you. And I'm so glad that Peggy shared that it helped her. Okay. So these are upcoming events. I posted in the group. I shared it in an email. We've got a lot of stuff happening, and I wanted to just talk it through with you all. So tomorrow evening, the same time that this is for you, it's just after 7 o'clock here in New York. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we are going to. I'll be live in the Facebook group. And I have invited a couple of my favorite people who are part of the Stitch Society membership. And we're just going to talk about their stories, about their journey with yarn and knitting and crocheting, and what it's been like to be part of the Stitch Society. So if you're wondering what it's really like inside the membership, come. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask them, and you'll get to hear firsthand from currently active members what they think about the membership. So join me tomorrow for that. That's in the Facebook group. We will be on screen, and you'll be in the audience much like you are right now. So come as you are. Don't worry about the hair and the makeup. You won't be on screen. And then on Friday, I said busy few days. So Friday, I am hosting a live Q&A about the membership. If you have questions about other things, you're welcome to come and join too. As a thank you for joining me and spending your time with me, I am I'm hosting a live Q&A to answer all of your questions about the membership. I am answering questions that I've gotten in messages and in emails and posts and comments, things people have wondered about the membership. And as a thank you for your time, you'll get a thank you gift, but that is only if you join me on Zoom. And that link is in your email, and I'll make sure it's in the group too. So it will be streamed into the Facebook group so you can watch the replay easily. But if you want the thank you gift, you have to join me on Zoom. I'm only sharing that gift to people who join me on Zoom. You do not have to have your camera on or your mic on, but you have to be in the audience to get the thank you gift. Saturday, so we've got Thursday covered, Friday covered. Saturday is knit night on Zoom. This is the second of the LYS Love Shawl knit nights. It's on Zoom. This is not recorded because I want there to be a chance for you to for us to connect authentically and to not worry about, who might be watching or if it's being recorded. So that is on Zoom. You have to register for this one, but there is no cost. It's just registering to get your own unique link because it was such a big public thing. I need to know how many people are joining us. I need to know if I will have to upgrade my Zoom account to allow more people to join us. And that is, again, the same time. So keeping things consistent to make them easy for everyone. So whatever time it is for you is when we will be at 7 o'clock Eastern in New York on Saturday. That's on Zoom. And it's just kind of like just a social knitting session. Again, you don't have to have your camera on. You're welcome to come, camera off, mic off, all of that stuff. And just come and be in the company of fellow like-minded knitters who know the difference between a knit one and a purl one and why we have so many works in progress. If you've been wondering what the Stitch Society coffee chats, the Stitch sessions, I also call them, if you're wondering what those are like, this is your opportunity because I run it really the same way. And Jerry says, I think Saturday is Worldwide Knit in Public Day. It is. So that's why I'm doing this in the evening. So that for those of you who are attending an event with your yarn shop or just knitting out in public somewhere, you also have the opportunity to knit in a group on Zoom for those of you who don't, want to be outside. So it is Worldwide Knit in Public Day, and but we're doing this in the evening or maybe the afternoon for some of you. And Sonia says Saturday is Worldwide Knit in Public Day. Someone just mentioned that. Yes. And then on Sunday, June 10th, so no big live event planned, but the doors to the membership are going to close on Sunday, June 10th. If you join now, you will get a surprise gift from me in August to celebrate my birthday, and you'll get A Taste of Brioche workshop. You'll get to attend that for free, but I'll talk more about that later. And if you have questions, definitely feel free to ask. And I'll share all of the information again. And then the giveaway that I mentioned, the LYS Love prize drawings are going to be on Wednesday, June 16th, so a week from today. I'm going to do that in the afternoon, so that's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern. And in order to get an entry into the giveaway, like I mentioned, create a Ravelry project page with photos of your shawl. If you can, add the yarn, add which needles you used, add a comment. Lovely comments are encouraged, but one of the things that I love about Ravelry as a website is that you can get ideas for yarn to use for different patterns, and you can also see what the knitters thought of the pattern, you know, what they thought was easy or hard, what they thought of the finished thing, the finished object. So create a project page, and I'm going to show you how later tonight. And this is all recorded, so you can also come back to it in the video so that you can step by step see what I did and how I did it. So that will be in a little bit. And then, as I mentioned, this is, I think, the last event I'm talking about is the coffee chat stitch session. We do 2 of these a month for Stitch Society members only, and that is Saturday afternoon, June 24th. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I've added also, we have a member in the UK, a member in Austria, so I've added the time for them too. So these are the prizes, some of the prizes for the giveaway for the LYS Love Shawl. There is a Zipper Notions pouch created by Fat Bottom Bags, and this is from the Spinning Hand. And we've got knit keeper cords from the Blue U. So these are like extension cords for your needles. They're also great for putting your work on hold to try it on. For example, if you were knitting, say, a cowl or a hat or socks or a top-down sweater, certainly, you need that extra room on the needles to get it on the body. So these are a wonderful thing. These are from Jonathan at the Blue U. You'll also, another prize that is up for grabs is a yarn ball shorty row counter from Twice Shared Sheep. And these are wonderful for keeping track of your project as you go along. They're great to use as a stitch marker. When you get to it, you just put your needle in the next ring and you keep going. So I'll share links to all of these things too, so you can check them out in more detail. We also have, is this working? Yes, okay. A shawl pin, a Likey wood shawl pin. Your choice, you can pick either mango or rosewood. So I wouldn't want to dictate your fashion for you or what goes well with the shawls that you knit and the things that you wear. So you can pick either one of those woods. You'll also, I'm picking 2 winners. You each will get your choice of 4 knitting patterns from me. There will be 2 winners selected. These are going to be selected randomly. I have a wheel that I spin with all your names on it. It's a lot of fun. I get to feel a little bit like Vanna White. So your choice of 2, you'll each get your choice of 4 patterns from my collection. And now we have the progress party. So I've got a lot of great stuff to share with you. I'm really excited. Carol had shared a project of her LYS Love Shawl, and she used Serdar Snuggly Cashmere Merino Silk DK. And she had a review about the pattern and also about the yarn. And so about the pattern, she said it has been a delight to knit. While the center lace pattern is more time consuming, the side panels knit up quickly. And about the yarn, she said the yarn was scrumptious. I love that word. She said it was scrumptious. If I could, I'd buy it by the bushel. So it's always, I love getting reviews of yarn and knowing what you like working with. So this was a lovely find. And Jerry shared this is her second LYS Love shawl. She said the center section is done and ready to be blocked. And what else we have? Oh, Kathy shared, I love cashmerino yarn. Oh, and Shelly says, love the pink Jerry. And we did have a comment. I'm not sure who it is from, but hi from Portugal, and it is late. So it is after midnight. I think it was 7:11 here when when they posted that. So I'm sorry that it is so late. And that's why next week I'm going to do it in the afternoon at 2:00. 2:00 my time. And one of my wonderful pattern testers, Colin, got creative with the side panels. He had this lovely hand-dyed yarn, but not quite enough. And so he asked if it was okay if he threw in some stripes, and it was so lovely the way that he kind of incorporated them. And so he added stripes to his LYS Love Shawl. And this is one I wanted to kind of chat with you a little bit about. This was Martha IK on Ravelry made a 4th of July themed LYS love shawl. So she used an off-white color for the center, and then one panel is blue, and they're working on the red right now. And so they shared a few things that were kind of interesting that I kind of wanted to chat with you all about. And so if you're watching, Martha, let me know whether it's live or on the replay. I'd love to know if you get a chance to see this. So they said using size 8 needles since the yarn is worsted and did not swatch. So then they said finished the white center but was short 3 rows as I ran out of yarn, and the bind off was a little bit tight. So that is something. The way that I designed the shawl was based on one color of yarn, and so I didn't it's different yarns come in different amounts in the skeins, so it wasn't something that I could have taken into account knitting it in the 3 colors like that, but I really love it. And then that the center blocked much different than the pattern. So the center, their panel after blocking was 35 inches wide and 13 inches tall, and it could have been stretched easily to 15 inches tall. So I know that the yarn, the Queensland Falkland worsted yarn, is something that I am currently actually working on a project using. And so it is a non-superwash yarn. So when you're substituting different types of fibers, it's always something to keep in mind that the blocking, especially comparing a non-superwash yarn to a superwash yarn, is likely going to be different, because superwash yarn, just the nature of the yarn itself, tends to stretch and grow and grow. I had told a story, I don't remember, probably one of these videos, but when I was knitting this shawl and I was ready to block it, I had put it out on my blocking mats. And it was, wet, and I was in the backyard on the patio table, and it just kept going and going and going. And I had to leave the wet shawl on the patio table, and I went to Home Depot and I bought those floor mats, the puzzle kind of mats that are great for like kids' playrooms or garages. Because I needed more surface to block the shawl on, because the superwash just grew even more than I, anticipated, especially the combination of superwash yarn with lace knitting. So different fibers kind of behave differently. And so that was just a kind of a tip that I wanted to mention to you. So the center lace panel does take up more yarn than the side panels. So there was still, they ran out of yarn in the center panel, but still had 37 grams left with on one of the side panels, and they are working on the other side panel. Um, so just some thoughts and tips and tricks from me. And Jerry shared, I used Debbie Bliss Rialto DK Extra Fine Superwash Merino. I absolutely love Rialto. It's a really lovely, lovely yarn, and is probably really close to the Jody Long Chow that I used. And from Shelly says, I just have to do the end late. I just have end lace to do, and I'll have another LYS Love Shawl done. So this is Shelly's second. And I've mentioned before, Shelly is a genius. Shelly is knitting the side panels. She finished and blocked the center panel, and she's knitting the side panels 2 at a time, kind of like you might do maybe sweater sleeves or socks, so that when she is done, she doesn't have to go back, pick up the stitches, and do the other side. So kudos to you for that, Shelly. I really love that idea. And when I knit another one, I'm going to do the same. And Heather shared, feeling good. I finally made it through the challenge gauntlet of repeated errors. I love that. I highlighted the pattern where sticky spots were, and now it's smooth sailing. I hope to make some good progress this weekend. Oh, this is back to a question about Shelly's. So using magic loop was the question. So because it's knit flat, you don't have to use magic loop. If you're working the 2 side panels on a long circular, like maybe a 30 something or 40 inch circular, Um, you don't have to knit them flat. You just have to work from two separate balls, or from, if it's wound into a cake. Shelly said a long cable. So if it's wound into a cake, theoretically, you could work from the outside strand and the center pull strand for something like this. And you just have to be super careful that as you're knitting along, when you get to the end of panel one, you drop the yarn and switch over to the yarn for the second, because you don't want to knit straight across, because that will connect your panels. So there's no steeking or anything else like that involved. It's just worked together on the needles at the same time. So just imagine a really long needle, but you're working panel one from ball one and then switching to work panel two from ball two. And it looks like that made sense. So I'm happy to see that. So this was Heather. So Heather, I hope you'll join us for all the stuff, and you can knit while you hang out with me. And so I also wanted to share some of my other patterns. You may have seen that I recently just released another pattern, my Generations shawl. And this one is kind of special to me. It has a really special inspiration. It's inspired by a Jewish saying, which is also a song, Lador Vador, which means, when you translate it to English, it's from generation to generation. And the stitches in it kind of reminded me of like branches on a tree, a family tree. And that's kind of how I got to the inspiration for the name. And I shared it with a few local yarn stores if anyone of them had wanted to knit a shop sample. So this is the sample at Wild Skeins Yarn in Hickory, North Carolina. They did theirs. It's a great one skein wonder project, and one skein, they used Shop Dog yarn sock, and I really love that pink, and how pretty it is, and how big it gets just using one skein is really wonderful. And they shared that they thought it was a fun and fast knit. And Jerry says, I'm working on that one now while my LYS is on the blocking boards. Jerry's always got something fun on her needles. And Debbie also knit the Generations shawl. She used yarn from Alexandra, the Art of Yarn, which came to her in a knitting subscription box from the Spinning Hand. And it's beautiful yarn. I fell in love with the yarn. It's the same yarn that I used to design the shawl. And I just loved working with it. So if you're looking for beautiful hand dyes, she's another dyer that you can check out. And Sonia says, one skein projects are the best. Absolutely. I love one skein projects, but I also love them where they are flexible and customizable, because skeins come in different sizes. And so I designed it in a way, you start with just a few stitches and you keep going and increasing. So if you had maybe two beautiful skeins of yarn, you could make a really nice size, a generously sized shawl, and continue on the repeat. It's really easy to make that adjustment within the pattern if you prefer something that is larger, or you have two skeins in your stash and you just don't know what to do with them. As you can see, it looks nice in a lightly variegated yarn, and also a tonal or a solid. And we've got someone said purchased, excited to start. And this was another pattern of mine. This was the LYS Love Cowl that Juana shared a photo of. She didn't really love the yarn that she picked, so she kind of put it on hold. This is not a shawl. This is, it's a one skein project. It's a cowl. It has actually crocheted baubles. It's a knit cowl with crocheted baubles, and it's a really beautiful pattern. I have a tutorial to walk you through that. Once I learned how to do a crocheted bauble, I don't think I'll ever go back to knitted baubles. They're kind of rounder and plumper, and faster, I found, and you don't have to turn your work or knit backwards, and you just kind of work the bauble. So I can't wait to see Juana's cowl when she does get a chance to get back to it with different yarn. And Chris Mauser on Ravelry called this her first fancy stitch cowl. And Kathy says, I agree about the crocheted baubles. The first time I think I did them was for my efflorescence cowl, and I think that you participated in that knit along too, Kathy. So this was my first, what I call my first cowl pattern. And it's a great introduction if you've never worked in the round. The stitches are not really difficult. It's knits and purls and a couple decreases. I think they're knit two togethers and yarn overs. And it's a nice introductory pattern if you want to practice working in the round. It's also one skein. Um, it's also a one skein wonder, and it's kind of fun to knit. It makes a really nice gift. It has instructions for both. Um, I think it's for both for one skein or for two if you wanted to make a long loop. The one here, it looks like it's just a one skein, so it just kind of fits, around the neck. But I believe the pattern also tells you stitch counts and things if you wanted to make a longer cowl. Oh, and we have a question. Jerry says, did you do a tutorial for the Color Crush shawl? So absolutely, yes. I don't know if I have the link for that here. Um, hmm. I will, I'll look for it and I'll share that in the comments. But yes, the Color Crush shawl has a whole slew of tutorials. Stitch by stitch is what I love to do. Kind of walk you through the difficult parts, understanding the charts and things like that. And then I like to give you that opportunity to see me actually work all of the stitches all in a row, kind of in a sequence. So that is about the Color Crush shawl. And Kristen says, beautiful work and color yarn. I think that was about the lavender, the first cowl pattern. And I know our on Ravelry shared their chunky broken rib hat. It is perfect for stash busting. It's 100 yards of chunky yarn. It's a super quick knit for gift giving or charity donations. And oh, about the Color Crush, Jerry says, perfect. I have the yarn balled, but put it on hold. I will make sure you have those links for when you are ready. And so this was the chunky broken rib hat. And I'm not sure. I think it was like a Lion Brand stripes that they used. And then I also got, I love these little messages that you guys send me. I kind of teared up when Nicole shared this one with me. She sent me this sweetest message this week. She had the opportunity to wear her coterie shawl, which was last year's LYS Day project, to a baby shower. And she received so many compliments on the shawl. And she said, so far it is the project of which I am most proud. And so as a designer, to hear that from someone who created your pattern, it blew me away. So thank you so much for such a kind thing to share with me. And we have someone says pretty. And Samantha says that's beautiful. So the original was in like a gold color, and Nicole did this really pretty blue. And so I just love it so much. And I love hearing from you all. I love knowing about your experiences with my patterns. Okay, so I wanted to mention again. Oh, Jerry says, my coterie took a blue ribbon at our state fair last year. I didn't know if I knew that, Jerry. That is so wonderful. I've never participated in my county fair or anything. And I just this week actually got the information because I had signed up for their email list. So I am debating what project to enter because I think I'm actually going to do it this time. So again, I just wanted to mention the doors to the Stitch Society membership are open now, but they are closing on Sunday evening, Sunday at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's a tight-knit community. There is companionship, there's camaraderie, there's connections, and just your new favorite yarny friends really are waiting for the opportunity to welcome you. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more about that in the coming days, but it will share the limited quantity Stitch Society bonus. You'll get a surprise gift in the mail from me for my birthday in August. I had asked in the group if you guys wanted to know what the surprise was, and I think just about everyone said no. And I'm not going to name names, but someone said, even if you told me now, I will not remember in August. Um, but if you are thinking about joining and you would like to know what the gift is, send me a message. I'm happy to share with you what it is. But I love surprises. I love surprising you. And and I think it's such a fun thing. We did this also holiday time in December. Everyone got a beautiful little gift in the mail, and I love seeing it pop up in people's projects and pictures. So that is the bonus, the big bonus. There's also workshop bonuses. It's priced at $21 a month. You can get a little bit of a discount if you pay upfront for a 6-month commitment, or the annual commitment, you save like 20%, and that's about 2 months free every year that you are a member. Everything is included at the monthly point, at the monthly level. I don't hold anything back, but you get a discount if you subscribe for a longer commitment. And Sylvia says you should join this lovely community of knitters. I love you, Sylvia. Thank you. And just to talk a little bit about what is included. So every single month you get a pattern from me. Most of the time it will be whatever my new release of the month is. Occasionally, it may be a code to go shopping in my Ravelry shop or my PayHip shop. If you don't use Ravelry, that is totally fine. I email the pattern out every month. And so you can also occasionally get your choice of a pattern that's already been published that maybe you don't have yet and you would like to work on. You get priority pattern support. You get my stitch and technique library, which I'm always adding to. You get 2 monthly private stitch sessions, which are just like our knit nights, but more intimate because we know each other and we're getting to know each other more each month as we go on. You get access to my Fiber Friends interviews. So once a month, I bring in one of my favorite people in the fiber world to introduce themselves to you, to talk about their story, to talk about what they do. We've had everything from alpaca farm owners to someone who raises Angora bunnies and does drop spindle and weaving and sells bats, to Erin at Crafty Housewife Yarns, who sells spinning wheels and fiber and yarn and all kinds of fun things like that. She does a lot with cottage industry, small USA suppliers of yarn. We had Dawn from Twice Sheared Sheep joined us. She owns my most favorite knitting tool brand. We had Jonathan from the Blue U, who has those knit keeper cords that I love. So we've had so many wonderful guests. Other designers that our friends have come to join us. We had Emily from Wool and Palette Yarn, and she shared some guidance on how to pick colors for your projects. That's a real big pain point, something that I struggle with, and I know a lot of knitters do. So she also joined us. I've also set up a private Zoom room for members to get together. Even if I'm not available, they can get together on Zoom if they choose, plan to meet up, because we're in all different time zones. We're across the US, Canada, Mexico, and then we also have a member in the UK and a member who recently just joined us from Austria. So that's a lot of time zones to try to find things that work, times that work for everyone. People are on different schedules. So I open that up, and that is an ongoing thing that is always available. Plus, you get free admission to my future workshops, which are $37 to $50 each. And speaking of the workshops, when you join, you get on-demand access to 3 bonus workshops. So you get the Beginner's Guide to Lace Knitting, which is a $47 workshop with $38 in bonuses, just part of that workshop. You get my Conquer Cable Knitting workshop, where I teach knitting cables. I teach fixing mistakes in cables. I teach how to knit reversible cables. And that is also $47 value, with included $35 of bonuses. And my Oops workshop, where I teach you how to fix the most common mistakes that we all make as knitters. Fixing drop stitches in stockinette stitch, in garter stitch, which is actually more difficult, fixing all kinds of different things, accidental yarn overs, um, missing yarn overs. All the stuff that you need to know is always there, and you can watch them anytime. Plus, you'll get my A Taste of Brioche workshop, which is the doors are going to be opening for that soon. But if you join the membership, you automatically get it for free. You don't have to worry about saving a seat. You will have access to it. That will be taught over 6 weeks. That one is not live, because I want you to have time to practice. I want you to take it slow, and I'll tell you more details about that. And then in the fall, we're going to do a sock workshop, socks step by step. So those are also a value of $50 per workshop. So $317 just in the workshops. You get an ongoing discount on yarn and needles at the Spinning Hand. And that is the link to find out more about it. Jerry shared that she's learned so much from the workshops. And Chris says, I always look forward to our coffee chats. And that may be the last slide. Let's see. I wanted to open it up for some Q&A. So if you have questions about anything, whether it is any of my patterns, the LYS Love Shawl, or anything else, feel free and ask me. If you have questions about the membership, I'm happy to answer those too. And I'll also have a dedicated Q&A where I'll go through a whole bunch of questions that I've been asked and answer your live questions. But if you're here and you have a question, let me know. If you are feeling a little shy and you don't want to ask it publicly, you are welcome to message me, and I'm happy to chat with you. We can talk email or messenger, whatever feels comfortable to you. But I want you to have all the information you need. One of my coaches, Sandra, I don't know if you're watching, probably not. But Sandra told me that being on the fence about something is just the most uncomfortable place to be. And I think that's 100% true. That waffling, that back and forth, that, thinking you might want something, but you're not really sure. So it's always better, if there's a question you have, reach out and ask me. And I'm happy to talk to you more. If you have questions about the pattern, if you're hanging out, let me know and we can talk through it. And if you don't have more questions, then just a reminder, we've got a bunch of events going on, and those will be live in the group. You don't have to do anything super special. Chantel says, and we get to meet caring and lovely people in this group, in the membership. We've celebrated births, and we have celebrated difficult times, and it's just such a lovely community. I always say that I think knitters are really the best people ever. And we had a question. Prices are USD, right? So yes, I'm located in New York in the US, so prices are US. And you have the option for payment. You can pay through PayPal or credit card, whatever works better for you. And both of those options are there. And that link again, wrong slide. So that was the link, doublestitches.com/Stitch Society, if you wanted to see more details, but everything that's included. I love spoiling you. I especially love spoiling my Stitch Society members, so they get as much as I have to give. They get, whenever there's a workshop or something exciting happening, they get access to that. And I hope that you will join us tomorrow while we are here. This was tomorrow for Stitch Society Stories, where you'll get to hear from firsthand from some of our members what they love about being part of the membership. So that'll be streamed into the Facebook group. And the live Q&A, there's the links for you to join. If you join me on Zoom, you'll get a thank you gift. We did have a question. What time are the calls usually? So like I mentioned, we have people from all different time zones. And so I do my best to try to, and schedules in addition to the time zone. So there are, of course, people who work during the day, business hours, and there are people who have activities in the evening and are available during the day. So we do 2 calls a month, and one of them is always kind of at a daytime hour. So for example, on Sunday the 24th, it's 3 o'clock Eastern. It's 2 or 3 o'clock usually is when I try to do it when it's during the day. And then in the evening, I typically do it around 7 or 7:30. Um, so it's a nice, tight knit community. It's a little bit like Cheers, I like to say, where everyone knows your name and they're always glad you came. um, so typically there's always one that is outside of that 9 to 5 kind of working hours, whether it's because it's in the evening or it is on the weekend. And then there's always one that is during the day too. So I hope that helps. The next one is Sunday the 24th at 3 o'clock. And then I haven't announced the July dates because I'm working out summer camp for my twins who are 11. So now that we've got that nailed down, I'm going to be announcing the July dates soon. And Jerry shared the workshops are a great deal. Some yarn shops can charge up to $80 or more for complete lessons. That's 100% true. It depends how many sessions the classes are. The one thing that I really love about teaching the workshops online, and I've been doing this now for years now, is that ability to give you access to the replay. Because I've taken classes myself in yarn shops where you get it and you understand it there with the instructor to help you. And then you get home, or maybe it's, weeks later when you go to pick up your project again, and it's just that thing where, you draw a blank and you don't remember exactly how to do something. So teaching live and in person is wonderful, but teaching online has that extra added benefit of the replays. And so whenever I do a workshop, I always give you the replay as quickly as I can. Um, and then you'll have access to that always. So for example, I just recently did when we ran the oops class, which was right before all this activity with the yarn shop day. So right now there is access to the full recording, we went over 2 hours, so you get extra from me. So that is in the in the classroom for you to watch. And now that things are starting to calm down a little bit, that's going to be broken up into bite-sized lessons to make it much easier for you to find exactly um, what you're looking for. And Chantel says that is so true. I am always happy to come to our events. And Jerry says, my fingers are glued to the replay button. It's nice because you can slow it down, you can go back and forth, and it's there to rescue you when you're stuck, is what I like to say. And Shelly says, I have recent experience with forgetting something I knew. And so isn't it so great if you have access to a replay, you can go back and rewatch it and just be reminded, have your memory refreshed. And I will for sure see if I can fit this into our family budget. Follow-up question. Have some of you Stitch Society members been able to meet in person? So we haven't done a planned meetup in person. I did have the opportunity to meet one of our members. I went to it. She lives not far from me. She lives probably about an hour or so from me. But there was a yarn shop that is her regular yarn shop, and they were hosting an event that I went to. And so we did have the opportunity to meet in person, which was really lovely. Um, and I am planning to go to Rhinebeck this year. It's going to be my first time. If you have Rhinebeck tips for me, please share them. I'm a little overwhelmed, but really, really excited and planning the possibility of organizing a meetup. And I'll be there with Carrie from the Spinning Hand. So I'm excited about Rhinebeck, and maybe we'll do our first Stitch Society meetup there. Um, but we're kind of mostly spread out across the country and internationally too. So we haven't done, a retreat or anything like that. And Shelly says, I am so grateful for video replay. What did we do before it? And Jerry says, I love that the interviews with people are also on replay because I can't always make the live. So and Jerry says, I really hope I can get there. We'd love to meet you and Carrie in person. We would love to meet you, Jerry. And which days are you going to Rhinebeck? I have to check with Carrie because she handled the reservations for, I think it's an Airbnb that we're going to stay in. And definitely, I would say Friday through Sunday, or Saturday. I'm not sure. I will let you know. Um, so that's the plan. I'm really excited. I'm looking for the Needle Lady now as I keep forgetting to order them. Is that My Two Ladies, I think? Is that what you mean? Is that Sylvia? If it's My Two Ladies, she had given us Stitch Society members a code. So I'm going to share that again. I'm going to check and make sure it's still working, and then I'll share that in the Stitch Society group for you all. So sometimes when we have fiber friends that come to join us, they've offered either like a download of something um, or a code or tips and tricks and things like that. Hi, Sylvia. And Chantel says Alexa's Mantioni, and she is My Two Ladies Knitting Needle. So she makes these wonderful needles, but also crochet hooks and Tunisian hooks that are great for if you struggle with pain in your hands. She invented a way that a needle system that is easier for those who struggle with joint pain, that prevents them from knitting. So she was also a guest, one of our Fiber Friends guests, and that all of those are replays that are available for you. All right, so quick reminders, and then I will say good night to you all. So Stitch Society Stories, that is tomorrow, the same time we started this event, so 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. And then we have the live Q&A that's on Zoom. I'll share those links for you. Join me on Zoom live to get the thank you gift. That's Friday, again, the same time. Saturday is our knit night. That is also, again, the same time. So go knit in public during the day and then come join us on Zoom in the evening. And you do not have to be working on the LYS Love Shawl to join us. I'm opening this up to anyone in the Stitches universe. If you're watching this, you're welcome to join. We'll put it like that. Oh, and Jerry also shared Knitter's Pride have beautiful day and night interchangeable needle set with 360 swivel cords. And I think those are light and dark, which is really helpful for the eyes because you can look at it. If you're working with dark yarn, you can look at your stitches on the light side. And if you're working with light yarn, you can look at the dark side. So that's the knit night on Saturday, and then the doors close for the Stitch Society on June 10th. The Taste of Brioche workshop is happening the end of June, And if you join, you'll get access to the lessons for as long as you are a member. And if you join now, you'll get a surprise gift from me in August to celebrate my birthday. Okay, so that is all I prepared for you all today. Thank you so much for joining me, for hanging out. Feel free to message me, email me. My website has a chat function. You can try that too. Whatever way you're most comfortable. Maybe not smoke signals, but anything else. Reach out and let's talk. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, friends.